All right, so let's look at how to do an elements and principles analysis. So first thing we need to do is let's actually look at the elements and principles. So here we have the elements of art, which are our tools to make art, and the principles of design, which is how to use the tools to make art. Now both of these should be in your sketchbook, so you have reference. Now what you want to do is you want to look at your image and you want to find one of the elements that's used. And then you want to find one of the principles to describe how the element is used. So, for example, let's move this over here so I can still see my image. Okay, so I've got my Campbell's soup can here. I can see that there are a lot of lines that have created the top of the can. All right, now how are these lines used? Well, they're definitely arranged in a pattern. There's definitely contrast. There's definitely a repetition of lines, which I don't see on this list, but repetition is one of the principles of art. So maybe what I'll say is that Andy Warhol used a repetition, which would be the principle, of lines, which would be the element, in order to create the top of his can. So let's go ahead and add that tag. So you can change the icon for this one to anything that you like. Let's see, I'll use the paintbrush. And I'm simply just going to enter text. I'm not even going to enter an image. I'm just going to say Andy used a repetition, so I'm going to make that in caps, of line, so I've capitalized both the principle and the element, to create the top of his can. And save. All right, let's make another one. So let's go back and look at our elements and principles again. So I can see that Andy definitely used contrast. We know contrast is placing opposites next to each other in order to make something pop out or stand out. So I can see that Andy used contrast in colors. He used bright red, and then he used some sort of light yellow and a lot of whites as well. So I'm going to go ahead and make that my next element analysis. So Andy used color to create, contrast in his soup can. That's it. There's my second one. All right, let's think of a third one. Okay, so let's think here. I don't see a lot of movement in it. I definitely see some balance. I definitely see some emphasis. I also see variety, which is not on this list, but variety is definitely one of the elements. Variety just means a bunch of different things. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Andy used a variety of shapes, because shapes are two-dimensional. If I look at the fonts are made out of shapes. Each letter is made out of a shape. So I'm going to say Andy used a variety, that's the principle, variety of shape, that's the element, to create the different fonts on his can. And there I go. I've got my 6 tags already. I've done 3 of them are element and principle analyses, and I can move them anywhere I want to. I can put it next to where I think the element is most visible if I want to. It's really entirely up to you. All right, so now we're done with all the tagging. It's time to save your image. And there we go. Your image has been saved. It's right here. You have options if you'd like to share it or send it somewhere. And that is it. Enjoy.